You guys should become lawyers. I think it's very important to help people out of the situations they're in the best you can. I mean, what side do you want to be on? You want to
like, you know, since when there's a pound, when niggas see each other, they smacking each other on the hips. What's that all about? Like, what was your reaction? Like, did you say stop, or, you know, like, what do you do when a strong ass nigga with a tight suit smacks you on the ass when you gotta say stop, no pat pat.
Tax on overtime and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And I'm announcing
a whole bunch of black niggas. You know what I'm saying? And the place that I thought that she was gonna lock down, Atlanta, she lost it. That's crazy. As many
Here we go. This seemed like it.
Mosley Esquire.
Here we go.
From Mosley and Associates on 601 South Figueroa Street, Suite 4400, Los Angeles, California. I think it's very interesting that this was filed on Fig Street. And you know, Megan got a song called Figaro on the Megan album. Although this is not primarily aimed at me.
That's nasty.
Because this is a Glorilla record. The whole Wannabe remix, in which he's alleging his original composition is being used. Again, we shall see. All right. In the United States District Court for the Central District of California, we've got Algernon Lanier Washington, a.k.a. Plies, an individual. Ronell Levat, an individual. World Music Group International, LLC, a Florida LLC company. Brandon Creer, an individual. And Alexander Martin, an individual. I am assuming all of them contributed to the original song that Plies is trying to sue on behalf of. And on the other end, we've got Gloria Hallelujah Woods, an individual. Megan Javon Ruth Pete, an individual. Hot Girl Music.
Let's hit them like buttons. Let's talk about it.
Very interesting that he's suing Megan's company when Megan only wrote and performed on the record. She didn't take the composition or the sound recording, but since she appeared on it, whatever. A New Mexico Limited Liability Corporation. Universal Music Group is in here. A Delaware corporation. Interscope Records, which is a division of Universal. Right? Collective Music Group, which is CMG, Yo Gotti's label, where Glorilla is signed to. A Tennessee Limited Liability Corporation. Belcalis. She's got an interesting name. That's Cardi. Marlenis Almanzar, an individual. DeAndre Cortez Way, that's Soulja Boy, an individual. SODMG, that's Soulja Boy's label. Stacks on Deck, Money Gang.
Damn, he got Soulja Boy in the lawsuit too. Soulja Boy must have made the beat. That's crazy.
Boy. A Georgia corporation. Right? So all of them are defendants in this lawsuit in which Plies is trying to redeem some sort of financial gain. We're going to skip the legal counsel. All right. This action arises under the Copyright Act of 1976, Title 17 U.S. Code. This court has federal question jurisdiction under 28 U.S. Code 1331 and 1338 A and B. Venue is proper in this judicial district. Blase blah. Plaintiff Algernon Lanier Washington, also known as Plies, is and at all times relevant hereto was an American rapper, songwriter, and composer. Plaintiff Ronell Levat, professionally known as Big Gates, is and at all times relevant hereto was an American songwriter, composer, and producer. As I stated, World Music Group. They are operating as a publishing company. Makes sense. Plaintiff Brandon Creer, professionally known as Necronom, is and at all times relevant here too was an American producer, composer, songwriter. Like I said, these are all contributors to the original song that Plies put out. I believe it was released in 2008. Plaintiff Alexander Martin, herein referred to as Alexander Martin, is at all times an American composer and songwriter. The term plaintiffs, as used herein, includes Plies, Big Gates, WMGI, Necronom, and Alexander Martin, except as context dictates otherwise. Plaintiffs are informed and believe and based thereupon allege that all times relevant hereto, defendant Gloria Hallelujah Woods, professionally known as Glorilla, was and is an American rapper and performing artist and conducting substantial, continuous, okay? We're going to skip past all of this because we've already named. And we shall make our way down.
It's getting nasty. You see what's going on? Plies is going for that bag. I'm just trying to hear what song this is.
Okay? Plaintiffs are authors, composers, producers, and publishers of the sound recording and underlying musical composition entitled Me and My Goons. That is Plies' original record. The copyrighted material. Plaintiff Plies is the owner. Copyright in the copyrighted material. I did not know that Plies currently owns Slip and Slide Records. Somebody should have told me that by now. They say on or around December 15th, 2008, Plies' album, Gorillas, including Me and My Goons, was released through Slip and Slide Records, Inc., and exclusively licensed to Atlantic Recording Corporation. The copyrighted material has since enjoyed significant recognition and commercial success. On or around June 15th, 2009, the sound recordings and album artwork of Gorillas were duly registered with the Copyright Office by claimant Slip and Slide Records, Incorporated. Evidenced by registration number, so that's the copyright number, all that good stuff. On or around February 20th, 2013, the sound record.
It's getting crazy. This is all that the niggas, homeboy right here he's showing the actual, you know, the lawsuit on the paperwork.
This is where we get into the suing of Soulja Boy. On or around June 10th, 2010, defendant Soulja Boy released the song titled Pretty Boy Swag, the infringing work number 1, performed by Soulja Boy and distributed, publicly performed and promoted by defendants Interscope, Color Pop Music, and SODMG. Infringing work number 1 incorporates substantial elements of the copyrighted material.
That was the paperwork right there.
Interpolated, replayed, and or reproduced, distinctive and protected.
Chill, what's good, my boy?
Material, including its melody, rhythm, and or lyrics. Upon information and belief, in or around 2024, defendant Soulja Boy authorized Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla to sample the infringing work number 1, right? So we've got Plies' original song, Me and My Goons. He's saying that Soulja Boy came and sampled his record to create Pretty Boy Swag in 2010.
2010, that's crazy. He going that far back?
Sued back then, that would have been the perfect time to sue because that was at the height of its popularity. But you know, I guess maybe Plies and his team never heard Pretty Boy Swag at the height of its popularity. On or around April 5th, 2024, defendants Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla released a song titled Wanna Be, the infringing work number 2, performed by Glorilla featuring Megan Thee Stallion. Infringing work number 2 was
Let's hit them like buttons, let's talk about it.
Performed and promoted across various platforms, including but not limited to streaming services, digital downloads, and public performances. Right? The infringing work number 2 incorporates substantial elements of the copyrighted material underlying Me and My Goons without authorization from plaintiffs, basically stating that Plies, Slip and Slide, and his other plaintiffs named in this lawsuit had no knowledge of the sample being used, and they also did not authorize it. That is his story. The defendants unlawfully sampled, interpolated, replayed, and or reproduced distinctive and protected elements underlying the copyrighted material, including its melody, rhythm, and or lyrics. On or around May 31st, 2024, defendants Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, and Cardi B released a remix of infringing work number 2 titled Wanna Be Remix, infringing work number 3 through Interscope and CMG, which has been distributed, performed, and promoted across various platforms, including but not limited to streaming services, digital downloads, and public performances, which is where Cardi B's name is now included in the lawsuit, just for a little extra oomph. I'm quite sure Megan and Cardi will be removed with their legal assistance, but as it stands, they are all included, and their labels will probably be removed as well. Again, the infringing work number 3 again incorporates substantial elements of the copyrighted material underlying Me and My Goons without the authorization from plaintiffs. The plaintiffs never granted any license, permission, or authorization to the defendants to use any portion of the copyrighted material in infringing work number 1, number 2, nor infringing work number 3. Upon information and belief, the defendants had access to and were aware of the copyrighted material before creating and releasing infringing work number 1. So he's basically saying everybody had to know his song existed and they pulled from it and they copyright infringed upon it, right? He says that...
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Plies might win this. Plies got a good shot.
Substantial that it cannot be attributed to coincidence. Now, if you ask me, this is all some Fruity Loops bullshit that everybody turned into something. And there's a song that predates all of this that used some of the same sounds that we're going to get to in a minute. Some of y'all pointed this out to me. Some of my Texas folks. We'll get to it though.
Oh, they talking about the sounds that... Okay, so he's saying that Soulja Boy used some of the sounds in that actual hit in 2010. You know what I mean? Now, I want to know about this. I want to know about this because I want to see, you know, there might be money for niggas like me out there right now. Let's talk about it.
Plies and his team are basically saying that they've reached out to try to take corrective actions to say, hey, you sampled my shit without me knowing what's going on. Y'all gonna pay me or what? Y'all gonna compensate a real goon or what, baby? Bust it down.
Bust me down, baby. Bust me down.
The defendant's continued use and exploitation of the infringing work constitutes a knowing and intentional violation of the plaintiff's copyright. As the direct and proximate result of the defendant's unauthorized use of this copyrighted material, plaintiffs have suffered and continue to suffer significant harm. This harm includes, but is not limited to, loss of income and royalties that would have been due if the defendant had properly licensed the use of copyrighted material, which is actually pretty accurate. I'm not saying that.
Yo, fam, I didn't use that pic of Soulja Boy. That's TMZ.
Close to 5-6 months. By now, royalties would have started coming in from streaming services. Not so much on the publishing end, but on streaming services, royalties should be coming in. That would have been due if the defendants had properly licensed the use of the copyrighted material. Damage to the plaintiff's reputation and goodwill in the music industry. I wonder how that is so. How you lose your reputation for being improperly sampled. I guess they're saying, hey man, if y'all think y'all could just sample my shit without me signing off on it, people gonna think I'm a bitch. They're gonna think that they could do the same thing. Hell no, you're not gonna insult my reputation. As their creative contributions have been exploited without acknowledgement and the dilution of the value of the copyrighted material as has been associated.
Let's hit them like buttons. We see the lobbies getting flooded. Let's hit them like buttons.
First claim for relief for copyright infringement. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything additional here. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's infringement, the plaintiffs have suffered damages included but not limited to loss of profits, loss of licensing fees, and harm to the market value of the composition. And that's for both Soulja Boy's record, Glorilla's record with Megan, and Glorilla's remix with Megan and Cardi. All right. So that's 3 big records. Pretty Boy Swag might be the biggest of all 4. But we'll keep going.
All right, so listen, it's this simple, y'all. It's this simple. You sample, you steal, I want to hear that. I want to hear that cash out. I want to hear that cash app sound. That's what I need to hear. Yeah. Send that in, baby. Send that in, man. He's 100% right. Plies is a fact right, man. Send that in. Send that in. We're going to get to this Young Thug in a second. But hold on. Let's stay with the Plies for a second. Send that in.
There's 17 U.S. Code 501. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know if there's any total here. for an award of actual damages to the maximum amount payable. So they're going to have to sift through the accounting and all of the royalties that have come in. He wants to be paid for his attorney fees.
Nigga says Soulja Boy look like Pookie from New Jack City. Nasty.
Award of a prejudgment and post-judgment interest on any monetary award as permitted by law, and for such other and further relief as the court deems just and proper. Dated November 5th. So this went in yesterday. It's now being reported on today. And this was filed by Walter.
John Daniels said, I wonder if they got the same lawyer, him and Diddy. Nasty.
Now, when you look up, or at least when I look up, Wannabe by Glorilla, I see that there's a lot of people credited in this record. It says written by Payday, which is a producer, Amari Freeman.
Golden Kex was good, my boy.
It's Harold Heerman.
Yes, sir.
Houston, Jorge Taveras, Keenan Bave Meter, Mario Mims, Megan Pete, which is Megan Thee Stallion, Paul Beauregard, Yaki Davis. The producers on this record include
shout out to my man Golden. Was good, my boy.
Yo Gotti, Jorge Ace Taveras. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, they in the chat. They gotta pay Plies, B. That's a fact. I want to see my nigga eat. Let him eat.
Song, but being that he has Glorilla in this deal, perhaps that's how he gets his royalties off of her music. I would love.
Yo, fam, you said the best shit out there, my dude. That's a fact. Let Plies eat. He gotta eat. Y'all sample this shit. Let him eat, man. Let him eat. That's the only way. It's not right. I'm sick of this industry. Yeah. Y'all just keep and y'all are not talented. Why y'all gotta use his music then? If you want to use his swag to get to your advantage, so you can make a hit, pay that man.
Yeah. Who used the same exact sounds on his record in 2007, which predates Plies, Me and My Goons, and Lil Will is not credited in this record either. Okay? So, to my understanding, no samples were credited.
Okay, so let me break this down to you guys. You see these plaques here? That means that me, my family, us,